love being in front of people, and I get nervous as hell just before I come on up here. And mostly with a group like yours, because you're a lot of doers and action people out there that are contributing to the world. And when I come to a Rotaries, I'm not speaking to a group typically that's simply waiting for something to happen. So you're all making something happen out there. Tyler, congratulations. The award you received, is that a big deal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How about another big round of ovation? Congratulations on that. Love seeing young people taking a stance in the world and doing something big and daring to, I don't know, I'm sure there was some modeling from mom and dad to do something with that. And Tyler, that was your part in doing that. So thank you very much for allowing me to be out here. And one of the things that Doug and I talked about prior to me coming out here is what would be a value for you people to hear? You people being people that are action takers. I see a couple people I recognize, Dr. Shear, you know, an action taker out there in the world. Murrieta Chamber, action taker. And what I want to be able to do is bring some value to what you're doing out there. Even when there are action takers, even when there are groups of people that are motivated and inspired to help out causes, what ends up happening is that phenomenon that is the 80-20 rule. And it happens in every group, no matter what. It's one of those things that just happens. And if you're not familiar with what the 80-20 rule is, it is that 80% of the activity, the actions, the things that need to be done is done by 20% of the population. And it happens in your group also. So some of you out there may be the 20% that is doing the action, so this may not be fully for you, may not be. And there may be parts in your life where you're putting action into what you're doing with your group right here, and there may be other areas in your life where you're taking the 80%, where you're not contributing your part to it. It's not accusatory, it's an opportunity for you to just kind of take in and really pay attention to all parts of your life out there. So the reality is, when I take action, something happens. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Something happens. Some movement in the world occurs if I take action. And it could be something as simple as making a phone call, sending an email, hitting send, right? This morning I sent an email. Actually, all I did was I sent out something that I received that I believe very fondly in. It was an organization called Boys to Men Mentoring Network. Anybody ever heard of them before? Boys to Men? All right. Great organization. They provide mentoring weekends for boys. Used to be at-risk boys, and what they realized is every boy is at risk, right? So now it's for every young man. Absolutely. And so what happened was they're doing a fundraiser this coming Saturday. It's called the 100 Wave Challenge. There's 100 surfers out there trying to catch 100 waves. And they're looking for pledges, and the whole thing is to offer, to raise monies for the Boys to Men Mentoring Network. So my action this morning was to simply get that and go, you know what, I've got a broad list out there, I'm going to send it out there. I'm sure there's some folks that will see value in that and want to participate. The very first email response I got back was, stop sending me this shit. That was it. And so what I knew was by taking action, something happened out there. And sometimes we have to risk taking action, don't we? Because it's not always going to be popular. Now I know I'm going to receive other responses as well, but the first one was wonderful, right? And so some of the reasons we don't take action sometimes is because we're afraid. Now some of you guys are going out there, well, I'm never afraid. Right? And yes, many of us, in fact, we all are afraid at times. And sometimes that fear prevents us from taking some kind of action. Now, as we get more mature, we're able to frame that fear in a nice little package. I'm pretty busy. I've got other things going on. I already contribute and give in these other areas over here. Right? Love the military, but I'm contributing in an area over here. So we guise the fear with something that comes up with some kind of story and excuse. That's what I call excuses, right? There are some of you that are leading committees that are the ones showing up, making things happen. You've got committee members that show up, want to be a part of, but what they're not doing is they're not taking their part in making things happen. They're showing up. They're showing up at your Thursday meeting or your Wednesday meeting or whatever meeting that is as you get together as a committee. But something is preventing them from jumping full on board and taking on more commitment, because you're probably one of those doers. Okay? So what we've got to learn how to do is catch ourselves. And again, this is not accusatory. I know you're a tough group right here. You're doers. You're making things happen in the world. And there may be some areas where you're not taking actions. It could be you're doing great work right here and you're not doing enough at home with your own children, with your own families. It could be you're doing great work right here, but maybe in your businesses you're not doing enough to be able to move forward in your businesses, your respective worlds out there, right? There may be something keeping you or preventing you from taking action out there. So again, the invitation is to take a look at where you allow fears to keep you back a little bit, right? Is it scary to push forward and be the only one doing something sometimes? Absolutely. You risk being ridiculed. You risk being told, are you crazy? You risk being told, who do you think you are? Right? I've certainly heard that one in my own head after I heard it from people outside of me, thinking I could show up at a group like this and actually dare to speak something to you all of value. Right? And I've had someone say, who do you think you are? Right? In fact, what I absolutely love doing is shaking things up a little bit and daring to stand up here and tell you how great I am. I'm pretty damn great. I really am. What I do out there in the world, I do really, really well. Now, some of you out there, what would you like to see happen right now? Be honest. A backflip, make sure his legs give way. Who the hell's he standing up there thinking he's that big and standing up, daring to speak in front of people like this, right?
Ask everybody else to get on their ticket.
Well, actually, I know you do it.
Yes,
you would do it.
I need
Right?
help getting down.
Actually, I'm getting pretty good at getting down, that is. I've had my chiropractor help me out. The point being is that most times in the world what happens is when we see, I'm talking about typically, when we see someone stand up and dare to be big, when we haven't done the same thing, what we want to do is see the guy fall or the gal get knocked down a notch. And it's human nature. Because what happens when someone dares to take action and be big and dare to stand up and say, this is what I'm willing to do, it reminds us of what we're not doing. Reminds us of how we're not standing up and being big at times. And we don't like being reminded of that. Especially if we are doing some good things, right? Anyone in here not doing something worthwhile on the planet? Right, so you're all doing good things out there. And so the last thing we want to be reminded of is when we're not. When we're not going full on. How many in here, a raise of hands, can honestly say you are living life and contributing full on the planet? Okay.
Contributing full on?
Very full on. Full on. All right. All right. So there's a handful of you that are clear that I don't reserve any energy. I go for it all the time, and I do not hold back. And the rest of us, Rob included, holds back some areas. Is concerned that I may not have enough money, energy, time. What else do we put in there? That kind of covers most of it, right? Money, energy, time, right?
Not enough good
Oh,
whiskey.
not enough. What was that, emotion? That's a good one, too. That's a very good one. Sometimes I don't want to feel certain things, and so I'll kind of lay back a little bit, right? Because this is just too damn close to the heart, isn't it? Sometimes. Absolutely.
Knowledge.
Sometimes I think I don't have enough knowledge, right? The judgments that I have, right? That I may not have enough knowledge, right? Anything else?
My golf game.
What about your golf game, Doc? So what happens is, and what I believe those are, is our own stories, our own excuses. They're not true. There's no truth to them at all. We've just bought them as truth. We created them as truth because it gives us an out. Can we handle all the emotion out there that really is out there? I think we can. I think we can. Our story is that we can. My belief. And I'm not trying to lay anything on anybody today. Just open you up a little bit and see if it fits, right? My belief is that most of those are stories and they're untrue. That we do have all the money we need, we have all the time we need, we have all the energy we need, we have access to all the emotions, we have access to all the knowledge that we need out there. Your golf game? I don't know. Right? But the reality is that's the truth. The truth is we do have access to all of that. And we use the stories, the excuses, and it keeps us safe, it keeps us protected. That's human nature. It really is. Because some of us think that we'll just absolutely explode if we really put all ourselves out there. And some of you are really going for it. And I admire those of you that say you're really going for it. That's my goal each day, each week, and yet I know there's times when I don't. I know there's times when I don't. And I got to check myself on that one, right? I want to be the one that is the model of doing out there. Young people, like Tyler right here, One of the things that anyone knows Sonia, oh my gosh, we're getting her last name now. What's that? Yeah, go ahead. All the Sonias you can think of. You know Sonia. Yeah, Sally knows Sonia too. Gosh, she's just blanking. She and I put together a program for young people called For Young Leaders, and that came out of some work that she actually invited me to come contribute and help do, and just us putting it together. And there was a lot of fear behind that. Maybe people won't show up. Maybe they won't see there's value. Maybe we'll screw them up instead of help them out. Right? There was a lot of things that could go wrong, but just doing forward and moving that. And so what I find is that I want to be around people like you who are doers out there, who are taking action out there. So again, today is not accusatory. Today is an opportunity for you to really just take a look at where it is that you may not be going full on. Right? Now, one of the things I know that's very helpful is, by the way, how many of you feel fear? Ever? Right? So, we feel fear, and one of the things I've learned to do is feel the fear and do it anyway. And just do it. Hit send, make the phone call, say, I'm going to start a new committee. Don't know how much time it's going to take, but I'm going to start this movement, right? Whatever that is, that we feel the fear and we do it anyway. And by the way, does anyone know the secret to starting a movement? The secret? What's that?
First step.
Well, the first step. Sally?
I would think it would be passion.
I think that's a great one, to have passion.
The answer is looking for.
No. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave that in, Sally. We do have to have passion. What else?
Making the decision that you're going to do it.
Nice. Not just a pseudo decision, like it sure would be nice too, but to make a real decision. And by the way, what helps support a real decision in the moment? Action. In the very moment. I make a decision, what helps support that?
Action.
Take some type of action toward it. Some simple little thing. Tell another person. Make a phone call. Send an email. Commit. Whatever that is. Just make a decision and do it. Got to have passion. Helps to have a plan in there somewhere along the way too, right? I used to be what was called the Tasmanian devil. Lots of energy, no plan, no direction. Knew I wanted to do something, but without a plan, that's all I am is just spinning energy, right? The one thing that absolutely helps a movement, though, we can have a person stand up and say, I'm willing to do this, but what do they need?
Supporters.
Supporters, followers, right? The way a movement happens is not the person who says, I got the idea, I'm going to run with this. Everyone else is waiting around for the person to follow the leader. And that's where a movement really starts. And by the way, the person who starts it gets all the credit. I mean, they really do. The one who said, I'm willing to claim my stake, I've got the passion, I've made a decision, I'm going to do this. So a lot of credit to that person right there. The person that deserves the next best credit, probably more so than that person right there, is the first person willing, well, and that may be your person right there. The first person willing to follow that crazy, insane, how do you think this thing is going to work person. That's where I think real leadership is, the person that's willing to be number two. To be able to follow someone else's movement, follow someone else's passion. And that's how it can happen out there. And again, you all are doers out there. And I'm listening this morning, I'm amazed at what's going on in Murrieta, California. What are we about, 1 o'clock? And what's being impacted in other parts of the world as a result of this group coming together. That's cool. That's really cool. And that doesn't happen by accident. So those of you that are in here that are doing okay with time? We're okay?
Something at one point.
What's that? We okay with time? Right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things that, so lost train of thought there a little bit. So you are already a group that's making things happen. One of the things that also helps in moving forward and taking action, that is the moment we feel inspired by something, to take action at that moment. How many of you have ever been on a run somewhere? Has anyone ever exercised, work out, go for a run? I don't know, some of you may not. The next question is, do any of you ever take showers, right? Right. Those times when we have alone time, when there's no distractions, no business distractions, no children distractions, no spouse distractions, where we just have ourselves. And when we're out for a run, and we're working out in the gym, or on a long car drive, I drive out to Irvine almost every day, where we've got a moment where we're thinking about and we get inspired by something. Anyone ever have that happen to you? You just get these ideas, right? Something I've learned to also do is the moment I get those ideas, I do something with it in that moment because they're fleeting. I can have an idea and not ever think about it for 6 months. It just won't happen again because in this moment is where it came. Something aligned just right, and I got this very cool idea on what I'm going to do for a training or start a movement, or I'm working with a coaching client and we've been a little stuck, and I got the idea on how to unstuck him or her, right? Whatever that is. So the moment that happens, I do something with it. Even if that simple do something with is tell someone else so I can remember what that is, write it down, make a phone call, get on the computer, just make a few notes to myself, whatever it is. Because there was a reason why it came to me, and we all know when we feel inspired, don't we feel a passion towards something in that very moment? Even if it sounds kind of nutty. And by the way, most of my ideas don't seem very reasonable. They really don't. They just don't. Because what happens instantly, I think, well, how am I going to do that? And who's going to be interested in doing that? And where are we going to get the money or time for that? Forget about all that, right? Have anyone seen the movie The Secret? Anyone see that one? Yeah. So, and I'm a buyer of the whole film, but the idea that if we just put it out there, if it's important enough to us, the money will come, the people will come, the time will come, resources will come, whatever it is, if it has big enough meaning for the planet. So what I invite you to do is when you have those inspired moments, and you all have them, but too many times we don't do anything with it, and they're probably the best ideas in the world, and they're going to go to waste, and they may not be discovered ever again, or maybe not for some time, right? So when you have those ideas, take advantage of that and do something with it. And the thing that I really want to kind of end toward here, to bring to an end right here, is what Sally brought up, and that's passion. You have all got to find something to get so insanely passionate about that you're not willing to not do something about what it is that you have an idea about. Now, I know many of you in here are going, well, what the hell is he talking about? I got passion, right? It's what I'm here for. I've got passion to make change in the world. I've got passion to do something, be a part of a movement. I get that. What I'm inviting you to do is go beyond what you're already doing. There may be something else out there you've thought about. Maybe something you've thought about that you want to put more energy into. Something you've thought about that deep down you've got desire and passion for, but you really haven't figured out a way to do it. Haven't figured out a way. One of mine on the planet is working with young people. And as a way of sharing a part of myself with you, I have two sons. I have an 11-year-old and I have what would have been a 26-year-old. My oldest son, Chase, was killed in a drive-by shooting when he was 19 years old. And the reason I share this with you is what happened that day was something shifted in me that rather than using his loss and his death as an excuse and some reason why I wouldn't move forward in life, I made a decision that day that he would be the reason why I did whatever I sought out to do out there. And so one of my great passions is doing something to help our young people realize and know that we really do care about them and want to support them being prosperous, vital, energetic young adults, right? In their way, not my way. And that's the real key right there. So I am working on a book right now, and I'm bringing the people in. And by the way, I'm not a writer. I don't think I am, right? But I'm doing something. And I'm bringing the people and the resources in necessary to make that happen, whatever that turns out to be. I know I've got incredible passion to make something happen and shift, which is why when the Voice of Men come on in and want some support and supporting their project, it's yes, what can I do, right? Even if someone comes back and says, don't send me that shit anymore, right? That's going to happen. That's just going to happen. So the reason I share it with you is there's something in your life, something that has moved you, something that has hit your heart that you may not be doing something about. That may be the reason why you're here. That may be why you're here to do something about that no one else is thinking about. That may make the difference. I don't know what that is. You do. So my invitation to you is keep doing what you're doing, first of all. I applaud all of you. There isn't a person in here that's not making big contribution on the planet right now, being here and coming together collectively. You showing up here today, it's wrap-up time. You showing up here today makes a big deal. So I'll leave this quote with you. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful citizens can change a planet, because indeed it is the only thing that ever has. You are that small group."